Facts, but you can't sound and talk like this and get no king, just street niggas. I like street niggas. Don't get me wrong to think that I can't get a king. Y'all kings is unattractive. Y'all niggas ugly. On me, let's keep it honest. All y'all niggas that want to treat me right, I don't like y'all niggas. I'm not one to settle. I'm not settling. I'm done. They trying to kill my kids, bro. Like, I'm done. Look at my kid's window. Again. Again. That's the first bullet hole. Here's the second one. Here's the fucking third. Here's the fourth. Bullet fragments in my wall. Like, bruh.
What's good, everybody? It's your brother Mad Black, the most dangerous and the most toxic black man on the internet. The brother who told you that your children's safety comes way before your immature needs and wants, but you didn't listen, and now you found that your entire house has been shot up. And I am black up in your face again with some more pro-black commentary. Very interesting story has come up on social media, and it starts out with a young female who is, I think she's from the DC area, and someone caught her on video, I guess, using a lot of profanity and acting as ignorant as as she's wont to do, because she is a very hood chick. And they said, like, you're never going to get a king talking like that. And she responded by saying that, she doesn't want a king. She'd rather be with a hood guy. She likes hood guys more than, a guy that would treat her right. She doesn't want a man that would treat her nice. She's like, those guys are dumb or boring or lame or whatever. Whatever immature things that, these young females say, right? She'd rather be with a hood guy. And ironically, no sooner than she said this, maybe like a week later, it was reported that her house was shot up, and that, she showcased, the bullet holes going through her walls and her windows, and how, the bullets went over her children's, like, gaming station and stuff like that, and then right over her child's pillow, all this stuff. Thank God none of the children were actually hit by any of these bullets, but it was just very, devastating to see, and I'm sure I would hope anyway, it clicked in her head that just, how close her children and her could have come to an abrupt end, because, a bullet doesn't really have a name on it. It can travel or just go through anywhere, and it just, in a split second, it's all over for whoever it hits. So, a lot of people have been talking about this story on social media, and you saw my little intro there. But, the reason I wanted to talk about this is because, well, two things. Let's start off with this first. I'll say that, when I first saw the video, when she was talking about she doesn't want a king and she'd rather be with a hood dude, my initial response to that was, if that's what she likes, I love it. Right? I think that that's what she should go for. And then I said that, to be honest, she doesn't qualify for a king. Like, that, I think that's the part that a lot of people miss. You know what I mean? Like, she's not, her mentality is to be with a hood guy, because she's a hood girl. You know what I mean? Like, why would a straight-laced, square type male want to be with her anyway? She claims she can get one, but that I doubt that very much. Yeah, I know she's light skinned and everything, and she's not terrible looking, but the most that any guy like that might have to do with her maybe is sex with her, and that doesn't count as dating someone like that. That doesn't mean she'll have a man like that. You know what I mean? So for me, it was like, she doesn't really qualify for someone that would be called a king in that regard, like a good type guy, because she doesn't exude any of that type of energy. The only thing she would ever attract is a man that's like her. So for, like, some of the some of the guys out there who are either upset or whatever by her initial video, I would say she doesn't even qualify for you, brothers. There's nothing to get upset about. And I would assume you don't want a female like this, but who knows? You know, I know some of you guys have this weird hood chick fetish. I don't. But you know, she basically attracted what she wanted, and it literally came to her exactly in the way, I guess, that she was projecting out to the world. You know what I'm saying? Like it's weird. Well, not weird. It's interesting, I should say, how the energy that you give out and how it reciprocates to you in that way. You know, if you are someone who is a derelict or someone who talks about violence and whatever, and then it comes right back to you, that's the energy that you put out there, and that's what the energy that you're going to receive. So she claimed she wanted a hood dude, and then, you know, her house went through some hood stuff. And you know, I didn't know she had children, but I'm not surprised by that. But you would think that if you have children, their life and their, you know, your self-preservation would supersede you liking these hood dudes, because the, you know, it whether it well, I would assume it's some hood dudes that shot up her house, right? But also, you know, let's say she's like, is she with a hood guy? She's dating a hood guy. Where were they at? You know what I mean? Like, they weren't there to protect her or her children, right? Where are these children's fathers at? I don't know if she has just one baby daddy or multiple. Where's the daddy at? Like, why wasn't he there to protect those kids from being shot at? Why has he not taken her to a better area so that she doesn't have to go through that? You know what I'm saying? But once again, this is the type of lifestyle that she wants, right? And even in like a lot of her pictures, she's out there with, you know, tattoos all over and her ass cheeks out. So this is what she wants to be in. And it's funny, like, well, no, I'm going to say it. It is funny seeing her complain about the bullet holes and you know, acting like she's all stressed out. But this is what you wanted, you see. And I don't think a lot of people realize the types of situations they almost call down upon themselves when they declare that they want certain lifestyles or certain, you know, they want to be in a certain type of relationship or certain type of situation. They call upon these things to happen to them, right? And it's a shame because, like I said, the children don't deserve that. I don't really feel bad for her, but as far as the children go, they don't deserve that type of lifestyle where bullets are flying over their head or whatever, and their mom is out there basically openly declaring herself a thought and making herself a target for these dusties out here, right? But this is what people need to understand. It's like, you I used to see this when I was younger as well, when I see a lot of these young girls talking about how they like the excitement of being with these hood guys, but then like when something actually goes bad and something really them, then they're sitting around crying somewhere, or you know, worried for their children, or worried for their own life and safety. It's like that's part of the Pooky package, right? When you say that you want that excitement, which I don't know what the excitement is. What, just going around smoking weed with a grown man who has his pants down, who walks around with his pants sagging, showing his ass? That's the excitement you're talking about. So, you know, when you have that excitement, that part of the Pooky package is you can be shot at, right? And your children could be put in danger. You can wind up with some bullet holes in you to go with those tattoos, right? So it's like, I don't know if it computes to them. But once again, this chick, she's hood herself. She's part of that whole equation. This is why I don't know why any man with any self-respect would want to mess with a girl like this, because she could put you in danger. Like, let's say if you were a square guy who wanted to date this girl, and then you're with her, you're hanging out at her house or whatever, and bullets start flying through the window and just miss your head. You see what I'm saying? Or you could be shot at by some crazy ex-Pooky boyfriend of hers that just got out of jail, like Gusto from CB4, right? And he's out there and he's on your head because you're dating his ex-lover that didn't send him enough commissary or whatever, right? So it's like, why would a quote unquote king, or just like I said, a square guy, want to involve himself with a girl like this? She's not even that attractive, in my opinion. There's no amount of attractiveness that's going to want me to have bullets flying past my head, right? I don't care if she looks like Bria Miles or something like that. I'm not going through getting shot at. You know what I mean? I don't care how good you look. I don't care how big your butt cheeks are. I don't care if you got a nice smile and nice eyes. That's not going to make me stay around to be shot at. Okay? I'm not living my life looking over my shoulder, just because I think you're somewhat attractive. I don't deal with that type of stress. I don't even like to be stressed out with nonsense in just a normal relationship, stuff that goes on in your average ghetto relationship nowadays. I don't want to be stressed out with that. So I'm definitely not going to be dealing with these survival type situations. It's hard enough surviving as a black man in just a regular capacity without having Gustos and Pookie shooting at me for no reason, right? So, I mean, you folks can let me know how you feel about this in the comments section. I would love to hear your opinions on this situation. Anyway, this is Mad Black, and I will be back with my foot on the devil's back.